So what if I told you that a 2,500-year-old text holds one of the most powerful psychological tools for self-improvement ever written? Seriously, it's a precise guide for how to actually use feedback instead of just, fearing it. So let's dive in and see how this ancient code can help us all get a little better at this stuff. Okay, first things first, let's start with the problem we all know. We say we want to get better. We say we want honest feedback, but actually asking for it and then having to hear it, well, that's a whole different story. It's incredibly difficult. I mean, we've all been there, right? That sinking feeling in your stomach the moment someone starts their sentence with, well, since you asked, you wanted the truth. You really did. But as soon as it arrives, your brain's defense systems just go into overdrive. So why is that? Well, an ancient Pali text called the Anumānasutta, which translates to the Discourse on Inference, gets right to the heart of this. It doesn't mess around. It basically says there are two kinds of people in the world, those who are easy to correct and those who are hard to correct. In today's language, you could call this being coachable versus uncoachable. Now, get this. One of the Buddha's chief disciples, a guy named Mahamoggalana, didn't just stop there. He created a checklist, a brutally honest list of 16 specific qualities that make a person hard to correct. It's almost like a diagnostic tool for your own blind spots. So we're going to run through these 16 traits pretty quickly. First, we'll look at a clear, modern English translation just to get the basic idea. I want you to listen and just, notice if any of these feel a little familiar. Let's go. All right, the first theme is all about ego and deception. This is the person who secretly wishes ill on others, who's always pumping themselves up by putting other people down, who is deceitful, stubborn, and just dripping with arrogance. Next up, anger. This one's pretty straightforward. The person is easily overcome by their anger, they hold grudges, they can be openly hostile or spiteful, and they lash out when they're angry. Basically, their anger is in the driver's seat. Now, this is where it gets really specific about feedback. Theme 3 is defensiveness. When this person is corrected, they don't listen, they retaliate, they scorn the person giving the feedback, or they try to turn it around and accuse them of something. And of course, the classic move. They just change the subject entirely. And finally, rigidity. This person refuses to explain their reasoning, they're envious and stingy, and this one is fascinating. They actively wipe away the credit of others. And above all else, they cling to their own views, refusing to let go no matter what. Okay, so that's the list. It's a pretty good list. But here's the thing. As a translator who works directly from the original Pali, I can tell you that these modern words, they don't quite capture the raw, visceral power of the original language. The real genius is hidden in the roots of the words themselves. And this is where this ancient text becomes this brilliant piece of visual storytelling. The authors weren't just listing abstract concepts, they were literally painting pictures with words. Let me show you exactly what I mean with a couple of examples. Let's take that trait, holding a grudge. It's a bit generic, right? We hear it all the time. Well, the original Pali word is upanahi, and a deeper, more literal translation reveals a really startling image, binding anger to yourself. And if we look at the linguistic insight here, or niruti, we can see why this is so powerful. The word breaks down into upa, meaning close to, and nahi, meaning to bind or tie up. So holding a grudge isn't a passive thing. It's the active process of tying anger to your own body like a heavy, clanking chain that you drag around everywhere you go. See the difference? It's an action, not just a feeling. Okay, let's do one more. The translation being spiteful is fine, but again, it's a little vague. The Pali word is maki. And a much better translation, one that really captures the intention, is wiping away another's credit. And this is just brilliant. The root word for maki literally means to smear or to wipe away. Think about that for a second. This isn't just about feeling spiteful inside. It's the physical act of taking someone's good work, their reputation, their accomplishments, and deliberately smearing mud all over it until it disappears. It's an act of erasure. Incredibly vivid, right? So now that we can see how deep these traits run, what do? We can't just feel bad about ourselves. The good news is, the sutta doesn't just diagnose the problem. It gives us an incredibly elegant and simple solution. A mental technique for real, honest self-reflection. You could call it a mental hack, and it's based on inference. The idea is, You don't have to wait around for someone else to give you feedback that you're probably not ready to hear anyway. You can generate it yourself, using the world around you as a mirror. So let's break down how this works. It's a simple 4-step process. First, you infer. You notice one of those 16 traits in someone else. You know, that person who always talks over you or who takes credit for your work, and you recognize, wow, I really dislike that. Second, you reflect. You have the honesty to realize, okay, if I do that, then other people must dislike it in me too. Third, resolve. And this part is crucial. You make a powerful, conscious decision. I will not be that person. I am going to abandon this trait. And finally, you review. You have to check in. You look in that mental mirror regularly and ask yourself, is that trait still there or is it gone? So the whole point of this practice is turning your judgment of the outside world into a powerful tool for understanding your inner world. It really all comes down to what you see in your own reflection. And the sutta ends with this beautiful, just perfect metaphor. It says that just like a young person who loves looking their best would gaze into a clean mirror, see a tiny speck of dust on their face, and immediately work to remove it, we should be doing the exact same thing with our own minds. Look, the goal here isn't to be perfect overnight. It's not about never having any dust. It's simply about being willing to look in the mirror in the first place. It's about having the courage to see the dust and then having the commitment to gently, patiently clean it away. So this 2,500-year-old quote gives us so much more than just a list of flaws. It gives us a timeless invitation to self-awareness. It's not about being hard to correct or easy to correct. It's about choosing every single day to just pick up the mirror. So the only question left is, what will you see in your reflection today?